Welcome to Pegwarmers. I'm Kevin.
I'm the Breaux Show, and this is Alf. How you doing, Alf? I'm back on TV. Ha! Wait, this is not the Breaux Show set. No, this is Kevin's, cool setup here. Look at all the cool stuff behind us. Ooh, cool! I gotta go look. All right, we're gonna let you go look. Yeah, sorry about that, guys.
And we're here to talk about toys. Today, we're taking a look at Wave 2 of Super 7's Ultimate GI Joe figures.
These guys look really cool, I gotta say. I haven't had a chance to play with them myself. I don't collect these myself.
Right.
But every time I see them online, they look really great. Like, they look like they just walked off the cartoon.
For sure. So before we dig into it too much, Mike, it's great to have you back on the show.
Thank you. It's great to be back. I have had a little bit of an absence because things have been going on crazy in life. That happens. But
on both sides. We've both had a lot of stuff happening. But it's great to have somebody down here in the basement. I've been recording down here a lot on my own or over StreamYard. We were actually going to do this online, and it just worked out Mike was going to be in the neighborhood. So I
decided to stop on by. I've been around Kevin's new place, and oh my gosh, it's really cool. I got to make sure I don't have my pocket stuffed full of stuff before I walk out. Shh, Alf, go over there. All right, yeah, we're going to make sure everything stays in place.
To check Mike's pockets at the end of the shoot. So I previously did an episode about Wave 1, which was Duke, Cobra Commander, Snake Eyes, and the Bat.
Right.
We've got Wave 2 here. Wave 3 and Wave 4 have been up for pre-order and closed already, but won't be shipping till, who knows when.
Yeah, they're always funny about their times.
You are paying for those toys at least a year in advance, which I understand. That's just kind of how this direct-to-consumer market works. It worked well for Mattel with Matty Collector years ago.
Super 7
Super 7's kind of doing the same thing.
Yeah.
The price has gotten a little higher. I don't know whether Super 7's selling less than Mattel did, but I suspect that's the reason the prices are higher. Also, the material costs have gone up over the years.
Yep. Well, the fact you're looking at anywhere from $40 to $50, sometimes $60 and $70 for like a big deluxe figure.
Yeah,
that's a lot.
Joe won't really have those figures too much, I don't think. But some of the lines where there are bulky characters, you do run into that.
You know what? They could end up doing like that Conan character.
Yeah.
From the very first miniseries.
If they ever get into the cartoon-specific characters, I could see something like that happening for sure.
Roar, he used the Hulk roar. Roar.
They did pack the little remote control with Cobra Commander that he uses to control somebody in that fight. Snake Eyes.
You mean the Atari joystick?
Yeah.
Yeah. That'll control everything. Atari joystick will do the arms, legs, and, eye blinks too.
So let's start with Destro.
He's got his own weapon supply company that gives Cobra their weapons, but also himself weapons. And when he goes gold, he doesn't go back. But he's really cool, and you just don't know who he's going to be with. Destro.
All right, so Destro just looks fantastic, I think. I love that big puffy red collar, the way it looks in the cartoon. Mm-hmm. And his silver paint is so silver. Like, not just a dull gray, but actually, like, shiny. And I think that looks fantastic.
It looks metallic more than anything. It doesn't look like it's polished silver either. Right. That's what I love about it. And the fact that the collar is really solid. I almost wish it was a little plush. That's okay.
That would be cool.
I do enjoy the fact that he does have his medallion on there, and it's not loose. That would be a worry of mine on a figure like this, that they would try to make it loose, and then it would be broken or lost.
It dangles around weird.
Yeah, but he's solid. I do love, the movement is there. He doesn't have double joints on his arms or anything. But that's okay. It's a good harken back to the old swivel arm battle joint.
Yeah.
The only thing I miss a little bit is the O-ring. You can't pull them apart. You can't put the firecrackers inside and really have some fun. But no, he looks fantastic. Even the eye color alone is really, really sharp.
So he comes with several heads. That head, is just sort of a passive head, maybe a standard head. He does come with a yelling head, which in the cartoon we always dealt with the fact that his mouth could move even though it's a metal helmet.
Right.
A weird thing that I just kind of got ignored. I think because they didn't want to have Cobra Commander and Destro both not moving their mouths when they talk to each other.
Saved on animation a little bit for them with Cobra Commander.
He also has a laughing head, which is a little bit
creepy,
unique, and sort of unusual. But Destro is kind of famous for that, head tilted back, hands on his hips laugh.
Cobra Commander, you are an idiot. You need to buy this at my full price and not half price. Because, weapon supplier and all. I did like it when he went gold, though. Kind of wish they had thrown, one gold thing in. Or, you know what? I think they're making it, too. They're making Pimp Daddy Destro. I think.
Oh, are they going to do one of him? They might. It's an easy repaint.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Power Broker.
Profit Director Destro.
Yeah, Profit Director Destro.
I do think that if this is successful, that maybe eventually they would do some of the Deke characters.
Right.
And I think, again, he would be a high priority Deke character to get a figure.
Right.
And he also, one of the other really interesting things, again, accessories I've kind of mentioned before that I'll probably never actually display, but is neat that they're included.
Right.
There's an episode where Destro kind of talks about the family history of his mask. And there's one with this molten lava on it, or molten metal, and then the ancestral mask that could be clipped on there or displayed on a shelf. And I think that's really cool because as a kid, the backstories of the characters, which rarely got revealed in the cartoon, more so in the comics, but in the cartoon, when you did get a backstory to a character,
you got a backstory.
It was really cool to know.
That backstory with Destro does actually lead into another figure we're going to talk about in a moment too, which is very cool.
So a lot of these figures, they are sort of bridging the gap between action figure and cartoon versions. Mm-hmm. They kind of pack in some accessories to make them feel a little bit more like the action figure. So he does have strap-on wrist rockets, which I don't know if he always had on in the cartoon. I think occasionally it would be there when it was convenient, but they weren't redrawing the missiles constantly. But he does come with those as accessories. And he's got a giant missile launcher, which is clearly episode specific, but I honestly have watched the G.I. Joe cartoon a bunch of times, but not recently enough to be able to identify episodes unless it's like the miniseries.
I'm looking for a dartboard. I know I will win.
He's got a giant missile.
You know what that looks like? Red Rocket's Claire.
That's probably what it's from.
A little tiny version of it.
He's got his own joystick here, so he can control somebody in a pit fight. He's got multiple pistols because they weren't really consistent on what weapons they drew with characters. And also maybe one of these is a specific, shrinking ray or who knows. There was a lot of generic-ish weapons that were actually a plot device. And he's got, the standard set of bunch of hands, as well as a few other things. Like this weapon, I almost assume is a scene-specific one, but I don't remember what it is.
I think that's actually a shrink ray or something from one of those episodes.
That's kind of what I'm thinking. It's something like that. But he's got a series of hands and a few other devices. I think this is a set of binoculars for him, or a vision thing. And he's got this other thing. I have not been able to jog my memory of what that is. It almost looks like the detonators Han Solo plants on the shield generator. One side's tan, it's almost like a drum skin, but that might be the unpainted side, and really it goes. That's the base,
or it could be like a Bunsen burner or something.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm sure that there's somebody that knows exactly where it came from, but it's got me a little stumped. And then he's also got a set of grenades that can go on his wrist instead of the rockets if he wants.
If he doesn't want to fire, he just wants to throw. He wants to throw down. He's
got accessory holding hands. He's got finger pointing hands. He's got some hands that can hold grasping. Super 7 always packs in a ton of hands with figures.
He's really fantastic.
I really like the way he looks. I like the cartoon design better than the original action figure. And maybe it's just because I watched the cartoon and didn't have the figure as a kid.
Right.
But the puffy collar, I think, is better than just the popped collar.
Yes.
And I think the gray boots and the belt are really nice compared to the unpainted, he's almost all black in the action figure.
It just breaks everything up a little bit more.
Yeah.
And I love the fact, again, with the Super 7 figures here, you're getting a little bit difference in height.
Yep.
Everybody's not 3 3/4 inches or 4 inches or whatever. Right. They're a little bit different, which is nice. And he's bulk. He's buffy, or buffed up. He's great.
Destro definitely was an imposing physical character.
Yeah, most definitely. Baroness is kind of the Cobra attaché. She doesn't do clerk keeping. She actually does espionage and spying and wears different masks. Man.
So the interesting thing about this Baroness is that she's in her blue and yellow outfit.
Which is right from the very first miniseries.
Well, it's from the very first comic book even, too.
That's right.
So Baroness is not actually like a Hasbro creation. It wasn't made as an action figure first. Larry Hama included a female Cobra agent in the first issue of the comic. And then because she was so popular and they got so many letters for the comic, they eventually made her a figure. Now they changed her uniform. Right. And she got the black dominatrix outfit. But for the first miniseries, they included her and she wore the same outfit she wore in the comic.
Right. And then we had a little bit of romance when she changed. No, not really.
Or Destro.
Whoa, you're a little good at that.
Yeah.
Wow, he's a Baroness?
We can get Morgan Lofton in here to voice some stuff.
She's fun.
So one of the things I do like, they did pack in ahead with the round glasses that's sort of the more traditional Baroness look, whereas this one has the green, smaller, rectangular glasses.
Yep. You can do that original look easy enough.
Right, give you a little bit more of that look. She does also come with a third head, because that seems to be what they do. And this is sort of like a smirking, but with those green glasses. I mean, these two heads are really the only heads that truly match that body.
Right.
But I think, again, like they try and do some stuff to harken these back to their original figures to sell them to people that maybe aren't diehard cartoon fans.
Right.
They're definitely aiming for cartoon likeness here, but they try to sort of make it palatable to just a figure collector.
One thing to note, too, you have the hair that arches over the shoulders and everything. Right. Makes the head a little hard to turn, but it is soft enough still that you can get it to turn.
Get it to move out of the way.
So, yeah, definitely, keep an eye on that. And if you leave it in that position too long, you might have hair that's sticking out.
She does come with a little holster. I guess that pegs into her belt somewhere.
Let's see. Yep, right here.
Sometimes those kind of things are hard to push on, but there is a holster.
Yep. They
probably made that removable because in some of the cells she didn't have it.
Right.
There's a lot of animation errors in that series. Oh, I forgot there's a fourth head. She has a gas mask head. So this is one of the specific scenes in the miniseries, and she has the little oxygen tank you can put over her arm. So that's a pretty complicated head setup there. Yep. That's really nice looking.
Like it doesn't come off, the mask doesn't come off his helmet. It's the whole head is one
right,
piece.
The whole head with it.
Yep.
Now, I've said it a million times that I sometimes think they give them too many accessories. They sort of justify the high price with the accessories, and I sometimes wish maybe they would like chill on the accessories and drop the price $5.
Right.
They're never going to do that.
No.
But again, like that gas mask is really cool looking. But there's no way that's how she's getting displayed on my shelf.
No, not at all.
She's got a fairly classic Baroness rifle there. Harkens back to the original figure.
And can I just say, and I was telling this Kevin earlier today too, they have this weird, thing here that connects the handle to the back of the stock and everything. How do you hold that? Like when you were a kid and you had a figure, it never fit right.
I just wish they would remove that when they sculpt the toys. I know that it maybe is more realistic, but it makes it very hard to use them. Yeah,
exactly.
She has this device that makes me think of the Filmation Ghostbusters.
Yes. I'm going to catch some ghosts now. Who are you going to call? Anastasia.
I really like this gun. They use this in the cartoon a lot. The character Windchill. He was like a snow guy. He came with skis and he had the Arctic Blast vehicle. His gun is not this gun, but it's like just similar enough that as a kid, I thought that gun was so cool. I always gave it to Cobras because it reminded me of this gun that they sort of use in the cartoon a lot. But this is a nice pistol to have. I love that they're creating sort of all of these cartoon classic weapons. Yeah, it's really fun. She's got a dagger.
Watch out.
She's going to stab you in the back.
I'm going to sell this to you on Rodeo Drive. No, darling. I go to Paris to buy my weapons.
She has a little tiny pistol. I assume this fits in that holster, the yellow holster that we looked at.
Yep.
And then you were actually laughing. We took this figure out of the package before the video. She comes with a little tiny syringe.
Say no to drugs, kids. Say no to drugs. Hey, they're really fun. No, Alf, don't tell anybody that. So, yeah, it's a weird accessory. I don't know where it comes from.
Again, got to be scene specific. And then, of course, she's got her array of hands doing everything except for flipping off the bird, but she's got pointing hands and holding hands and what is this? Oh my goodness. I will get a close up of this for sure. This is a squeezing the syringe hand.
Yes.
Wow.
So they know that people are going to do that.
That's pretty amazing.
When she dresses up as a nurse at one point, I bet that's what it's from.
That might be where it's from.
Yep.
Yeah.
And there's the holster on her right now.
There you go.
The gun. So yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah, she's a very cool figure.
So this is the first figure that I have slight regrets about buying, not because she's not a good figure, but because they've already announced the action figure black costume version.
With the insignia on it and everything.
For Wave 4. Yep. And I like these figures. I'm really glad they're making them, but I don't necessarily want to buy the same character multiple times. And obviously that black suit one is my preferred costume for her. So I am a little bit like, But she is a great figure. I am glad that they produced her.
And she can give you head. She's giving her head.
To Destro.
Mm-hmm. So there you go.
I'm going to polish his chrome dome there. Lady Jaye is our covert operations specialist. She's part of the intelligence unit for the team. Is often in disguise, kind of very similar to the Baroness character that we're talking about. And she's a javelineer.
Oh my gosh, she looks great.
I love having her in that cartoon costume.
Yes.
She's got the little tree badge on her sleeve.
Yep.
She's got the bandolier, like quiver pack.
With everything inside
short
already.
hair, no hat. Like, this is the Lady Jaye I wanted as a kid.
Yes.
Does this knife come out?
It does.
Wow, that's really cool.
Like, that's the detail that you would see on the figure itself originally. I'm like, I want to be able to pull those accessories out. They worked it into that.
That's really fun.
And it looks sharp. Like, it doesn't look like it's bad or just thrown in there.
I love the cartoon colors with these. Like, I love the dark green pants and the light green shirt. Like, action figures would mostly be molded in one color, and they get a little paint apps.
Right.
The cartoon scheme just is so much more striking, I always think, because it uses those, like, complementary colors.
And with the GI Joes in particular, a lot of their colors, when they were in the more standard colors, looked realistic. Like, this you would see on an army base in the 80s or 90s, easy enough.
Right, this feels like an army soldier.
Okay, she does have the javelins, but that's okay. We'll give her that little bit of sci-fi extra.
What do you think about her face? I've seen some people online complaining. I don't necessarily think it's as good as the render, but I don't think it's terrible.
No, you know what? It looks like they took the flat cell of the cartoon and tried to give it a little more definition. Maybe the cheekbones are a little too high. Like,
it's always weird transitioning from 2D to 3D. There's always a certain angle it's not quite right at and things like that.
And they added a little blush. Like, not...
Maybe that's what's throwing it off, the look.
Yeah.
So this head is very serious and sort of squinting. What's that facial expression?
Very kind of monotone. Like, I'm here. I'm in present, you know. She's definitely like...
This is a little more intense.
Yeah. You know who would be a perfect look for her? Olivia Benson.
There you go.
Mariska Hargitay.
She comes with a third head, and this is similar to Duke's headset head.
Yes.
I'm not sure if this is the way this headset's supposed to be, or if mine came out of the package, like, warped. It's really aiming down below her chin.
Yeah.
So I am going to try and look at the render image and see if I need to try and, like,
fix
hold
it or
that
something.
up.
Yeah.
I might put a piece of, like, poster tack under it and just let it sit for a month and see if that kind of holds it in the right spot. It actually seems like it's resting in a better spot now that I've played with it a little bit.
She's got to be able to talk into the microphone itself.
So she's got 3 heads. The two main ones are similar, and then the headset one is one I could live without because I'm not going to put her in a Sky Striker, so she probably doesn't need that one, but it's not a bad thought. So she comes with the standard Joe laser rifle, which I love that they're including them with so many characters.
Wait, does it have the plus on it too? Let's see. No, but it is bent up a little bit.
She's got her action figure javelin. One of the cool things with this is that the javelin actually can come out.
No. Oh, that's cool.
So she could shoot that if you wanted.
Okay.
This was always a weird accessory, the real one, because it kind of looks like it's got a javelin sticking out of both ends.
It could go both ways, right.
As a kid, it was a little confusing. I always really loved how she just threw them in the cartoon.
Yeah.
And my cousin and I actually used to use pickup sticks.
Oh,
you know that game, pickup sticks?
Yeah.
And he kept a pack of pickup sticks in his tackle box that we had GI Joes in, and we would use those as Lady Jaye's javelins.
That's actually genius.
It was kind of fun.
You know what? Those might work, or a little bit bigger would work for her too.
Yeah.
Yeah, same size.
She does come with her camera. This is in black instead of green, and the strap's a little bit rigid. It's an okay accessory, but a lot of the devices and stuff in this line have some paint apps on them and things, so this one's kind of plain.
You know what this needs? This needs a scoop action figure. That's what this needs.
Well, when they get to Deke.
Yes, they need a scoop action figure. I'm telling you right now, Super 7, I want a scoop action figure. You need to make just one, just for me.
I'd buy one too.
Yeah.
We've got a couple of javelins here. So that's pretty nice that she's getting those. This is kind of her standard one. This other one has some barbs on it. I'm sure that's very scene specific.
It is. That comes from Pyramid of Darkness when she creates the bubble to go around her. And
there you go.
Yep.
And then she has another shaft without tips, and a series of different javelin heads you can plug into that. And I mean a series.
Yeah.
There are a whole bunch. This one has like an exploding tip. I don't know if there's one with that big diamond on it. Remember that? There's an episode where she has a diamond one. She cuts
glass
materials with.
Yep.
Anyway, there's a whole bunch of these, and I'll get a good close-up of it, but there's a whole bunch of different scene-specific episodes. There's a grappling hook one with a little piece of rope on it. Like, any trick javelin she used in the show,
it's there.
They packed it in, and that's kind of fun.
What you talking about? I'm going to talk about Shaft.
She does have a canteen, and it's got a peg on it, or a hole, so she must be able to peg that on her belt.
Yep, let's see.
Equipped her with that.
And again, that's just part of the accessories that you can pull off and actually do something to make it look more realistic.
And it's kind of fun. She does have a hand here that I'm pretty sure would be able to hold that canteen if you wanted to have her,
I bet so.
Act like she's using it. They really do.
Glug, glug, glug.
They really do incorporate a lot of fun stuff for toy photographers. It's a lot of extra stuff to store if you're just putting the figure on your shelf and never touching it again.
Right.
But if you do stop motion or you do toy photography, you really do get a ton of options with these figures.
There's a lot of great photography out there, too, with these alone that I've seen. So now that these are starting to hit, same thing.
Yep. And again, as we've said, an array of hands. I think she turned out really good. I'm glad we have her in the line. She's an important character to the GI Joe brand.
Agreed.
It's amazing to me how important the girls were in that cartoon show. Like, the writers could have easily not included them. Like, you got one female character a year, it seemed like, in the toy line. But Scarlet and Lady Jaye really were key players in that cartoon. They made me want the girl action figures.
Yes.
And probably more so than if they had just been for sale without, like, the cartoon. But I was too young to get Scarlet. I was born in 82.
Yeah, that's right.
So, like, I missed that first wave. So I actually grew up, like, wanting to find a Scarlet at a yard sale, wanting to find a lot of the characters they used in that first season of the cartoon, like Destro and the Helmet Cobra Commander. I never could get those guys
because they were that first.
They were that first run. Now, like Lady Jaye and Flint, those guys I was able to pick up because they were 85 figures,
right?
And that was kind of my entry point, 85, 86.
Right.
I was able to get those figures.
No, you're absolutely right. A lot of those stories were female centric, even.
Yeah.
For their characters, they were the ones that were driving the plot. They were the ones that were planning. How many times did the Baroness try to take over Cobra or something? Or Lady Jaye actually saved the day.
Right.
And it was something centric to her. Matter of fact, now that we're talking about Lady Jaye, there was an episode we just handed out earlier.
Yeah.
Where it's heavily, heavily hinted that Destro and Lady Jaye are related.
Correct.
And that was a cool, like, it's not in any file cards, it's not even in the comics or anything, just in the Sunbow universe. I thought that was a cool
distant relatives.
Right. He had to sacrifice her for something or whatever.
Yeah, to awaken a beast like a kraken that lived under his castle in Scotland.
You know what it probably was? It was probably a portal for the kids from Dungeons and Dragons to get home.
Probably
That's what I'm betting.
That's why Uni never got here.
Exactly.
So Flint is a classic character from the G.I. Joe cartoon. He's the warrant officer from the team, armed with a sawed-off shotgun or a miniature shotgun. I'm not even sure what that exact weapon is, but he was a leading man in the cartoon show and has a great figure here. Flint really did get a lot of airtime.
Yes.
Flint and Duke really got probably more time in the cartoon than they did in the comic.
I agree.
Flint got used more in the comic than Duke did.
Yes.
But Flint, his look was great. The voice, the Bill Ratner voice.
Yes.
Like, I can hear it when I look at this figure.
Well, there's a Family Guy episode, too, where he shows up, and it's the same. It's Bill again. Like, you can't have Flint without that.
When I was in college, my roommate was in ROTC, and he went on to serve in the military for several years after college. And he was always watching stuff on the History Channel. And I used to crack up, because every once in a while, they'd be doing some sort of, like, modern military thing about the Army Rangers, and I would be like, that guy voiced a G.I. Joe. And he's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, that's the voice of Flint narrating that.
Right.
Because they would hire Bill to voice things.
Oh, my gosh.
But he looks great.
Yeah.
Now, very different from his original figure, because he has the green shirt instead of black. Right. His beret is more of a bluish color.
Yeah, not the black. Yeah.
But I love the camo pants. He's got a lot of the great details. He looks really good, but it's definitely a different look than the original figure.
Than the cartoon or the toy itself.
Yeah.
And then in the cartoon, he had a lot of great storylines for him. The one that he went on vacation.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm on leave. I'm out. And he had like his own. They should do vacation Flint with the polo shirt and everything.
That would be great.
It'd be easy. Just take off the straps and done. But yeah, like he had a lot of great storylines in that show. And he he was just fun to watch.
He was in a lot
He
of
was
episodes.
no nonsense.
He kind of stole the show in the second season. He got to shout "Yo Joe" at the beginning of the intro on the flag, even though it was actually Michael Bell's Duke yell. They didn't swap out the audio. But you know that intro, all the intros really from the GI Joe cartoon are some of the best GI Joe media ever made.
Yep.
Like if you want to sell that brand to a kid, you don't need to actually make a big budget movie. Just show them the intro of season 2 or the GI Joe
the movie.
The movie, all those things are amazing.
Yep. I wish he had more time in the movie. He gets a little bit towards the end.
Well, because they were pushing so many new characters, at least they didn't kill everybody off. They learned their lesson.
Listen, that's a sore spot still for Prime. And then they brought him back. Anyway.
They tied up a lot of people in vines
to
get them out of the way to let the new talent shine, but they did bring him in later on in the episode, or in the movie. So Flint has his beret head there. We do get a non-beret head.
Which is something you rarely see with Flint.
You rarely see that. But that's kind of fun. It looks odd to me. I almost want to compare it to the other one. Because when I just look at it without the beret, I don't think Flint, glancing at it.
It almost looks like a young Hawk.
Maybe. But it's just so funny to see him because I don't think of him that way.
Right.
So it's not instantly recognizable, but not a bad idea to have him come without it. He does have a beret, though.
Which will go right on top.
Put that on there and see if it magically looks instantly like Flint.
Let's see. Oh my god, it's Flint.
Wow. Okay. There we go. We've got a open mouth with the headset.
Of course.
Flint to go with Lady Jaye and go with Duke. You know what? I think I'm going to display my entire Super 7 collection with their heads on. Just for no reason. I'll put Snake Eyes with his walkie-talkie.
Yes.
Because he can't use that. Other than to hear them. And I'll have them all have their headsets on so they can talk to Snake Eyes.
Right. He's using the Morse code button. That's what he's doing.
I think I now know how I'm displaying my figures. He does come with a great representation of his vintage toy backpack. They didn't wear backpacks a lot in the cartoon.
No.
So this is more of a... We want to make it look like the original figure.
Yep.
I do kind of like the strap idea. I mentioned this in the other video. It's a little bit of work to get it on. You kind of have to twist their arms behind their back a little bit.
I was pointing out the fact that they don't have the peg holes.
No peg holes.
I wish they did just for the look, but I get they're going for the straight cartoon look.
Yeah.
But still.
Flint comes with a shovel.
That's
better
because
get digging, boy.
That's because so he can bury the bodies. That's why. There's a deep dark secret.
There you go.
From Springfield and whatnot. Yeah, that's what it is.
Flint's burying the bodies. He of course comes with the giant laser rifle that everybody has. I'm looking for his shotgun. Here's the shotgun.
There it is.
That's a really nice representation. Actually, this looks like a full shotgun. The original vintage toy, it was very small.
Yeah.
This is pretty big. Does that fit in the holster, actually?
I believe it does. So Flint has his holster on the side, and to a point.
It's a little long, it's a little high, but it does work.
It's a little tight, yeah.
All right.
So he's got his holster with him.
I don't remember him having the holster too often in the cartoon.
No.
So either he never had it and they just included it for fun, or he had it somewhere, not used a whole lot.
Right.
Can he holster the shovel?
I think he's going to holster the shovel for us for now.
He does also come with this standard like GI Joe pistol in silver, which I do remember Duke using this pistol a fair amount. I mean, this was kind of the go-to. If they weren't using the laser rifle, they had the laser pistols.
And then we were talking too, this gun here actually looks a lot like the gun that Megatron uses on killing Prime in the animated film.
I'm sure they reused a lot of prop model sheets.
Yep.
Here's his binoculars, because you want to pose him like a standard army man with the one hand up and binoculars.
I mean, I don't drink, but it does look like a couple shot bottles too. I'm just saying.
Could be that. He's got a walkie-talkie so he can talk to Snake Eyes.
Beep, 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 beep.
Probably one of the most interesting accessories, and this was used to tease this whole line or this wave, is the Cobra Commander to deliver State of the Empire Address Tonight newspaper.
That's just cool because it comes straight out of one of the very Flint-centric episodes, Worlds Without End, which I love.
One of the most famous episodes. It's so interesting that one of the most popular and most remembered episodes is a multiverse type episode
from the 80s
that kind of screws the whole continuity. And then of course he comes with an array of gloved hands. So just like everybody else, he's got tight closed hands, sort of loose open hands. He's got pointing fingers. Lots of different stuff there. Oh, and he has a flashlight, the standard military flashlight there. Almost missed that accessory.
You know, us just talking about Worlds Without End just reminded me, one of the accessories that Destro comes with is the MacGuffin device. That gun that we couldn't identify before.
Oh.
It's the MacGuffin device that creates the whole Worlds Without End portal for them to fall into.
Okay.
That's their tie-in right there.
There you go.
Yep. So, oh yeah, that's cool.
Overall, this is a cool wave. I'm glad I have them all, even though I mentioned like the Baroness is getting replaced or upgraded in my opinion. But I often talk about like must-have or optionals. I think that this Destro and Flint are must-haves.
Yep.
I think Lady Jaye is pretty close to a must-have, and I think she's a must-have, but I could see if somebody passed on her.
Right.
Some people are collecting. She's like a B+ character or an A- character. If you're collecting just like the really tight knit core, I could see somebody cutting her out. And the Baroness, again, I think she's a really core character, but I don't think she's in her like prime uniform.
Right. I think for me, I'm a big, and we were talking this before, is that for me, I love the core 12 GI Joe figures, and there's also like the core 3 or 4 Cobra figures.
Yeah.
So for me, I'd probably go more for the blue one if I'm collecting these, but that's just me. Because I'd want the core like Destro, Baroness, Cobra Commander with both the hood and the metallic head, and maybe a Zartan or something. Okay. And that's it. That would be my core.
I need Storm Shadow in that group.
Well, yes, I can understand that. But then, like, I would love the original 12 as well from GI Joe. Maybe 13 if they got Shooter. But
we were discussing that. I think it would be pretty tough, only because some of the original guys barely made it into the cartoon. There was no cartoon in 82 or 83, right? 84 was the first miniseries.
The closest they could do was that original commercial they made for the comic book, and that shows all of them in an animated style.
Very brief appearances for some of the characters are literally in a few frames of that commercial or the first miniseries.
Or like the opening or something like that, and that's it.
Just very brief. Like Flash and Grand Slam, it's not. I don't think it's even clear if Grand Slam's actually in, because you can't really tell when he's not holding his laser rifle. Right. Is that Grand Slam or is that Flash?
Well, what you should do is, at this point, now that you've done these two with their accessories from Worlds Without End, do at least Steeler, Clutch, and who was the other one?
Breaker?
Breaker.
Yeah.
I think it was.
I mean, I think those guys are coming.
Yeah.
I think...
You can give us those.
I think once the fourth wave comes out, I think at that point they need to start focusing on at least one green shirt original Joe per wave.
And then that way they can at least get a couple more in there.
I would probably have one of the green shirt guys, so Clutch and Breaker and Zap and all those guys.
Yep.
I'd have one Cobra Trooper in every wave from now on. A Viper of some sort, because we want all of those.
A Viper in this series would be great.
The regular Viper I want so bad. I want a Televiper, Snow Serpent. And then I think you probably have 2 slots left for somebody that's kind of a more, like, named character, closer to A-lister.
Right.
You've got a few more people to get through from this series, but then you got, like, the 86 and then into the movie, if they go that far, because I think you need Beachhead, maybe Sergeant Slaughter if they're allowed to do that. I don't know what all the licensing looks like on that end.
I want to see somebody like Quick Kick come in. I want to see Alpine and Bazooka together.
Alpine and Bazooka need to be in
the same wave or something.
And Gung Ho and Wetsuit.
Yes.
Need to come out together too.
Gung Ho and Wetsuit or Leatherhead?
I'm sorry.
Leatherneck.
Leatherneck and Wetsuit.
Yeah,
I said the wrong thing. Yes. We are getting Gung Ho in wave 4.
But the tat doesn't look quite right. And I
understand
why.
That's the kind of the new Hasbro version of it. The
non-Marine Corps version.
Yeah, we don't have to pay for a copyright for this tattoo.
But, I do love Gung Ho, too, almost as much as I love Scoop, because Gung Ho, a Louisianian, gotta say. Also Muskrat, too.
There you go.
And then we'll never get Muskrat, but he would be cool to have, too, with his old board.
I got Steeler and my least favorite GI Joe. Actually, there's 3 Joes from Pennsylvania. Steeler, who's great.
Yep.
Ozone, who's fairly forgettable.
It's named for the sky.
And that guy, Windmill, who I just hate. I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed to have him as a Pennsylvanian.
Windmill? Really?
Windmill, I hate that figure.
But he had such a cool jet copter thing that would not fly aerodynamically whatsoever.
I just can't stand him. I just can't stand Windmill.
Oh my gosh. Well, they had him in the Fun School line too.
They did.
And then
they didn't make him any better.
No. Then they made the Collectors Club one in the
Based
Fun
on
School
that.
colors.
That was so bizarre. Why did they do that at the tail end?
I don't know.
I wanted Jetpack Hawk so bad, and
Yeah.
then they made him in Fun School colors, which didn't wreck it, but it definitely reduced it in my I really love this.
I don't know why they
tinkered
went
with
that
a
way.
lot of colors at the end of that club. This totally different topic, but
Yeah.
they didn't want to make Scoop yellow, so they made him orange. Well, that didn't help him.
No, it did not.
And making Windmill stinks either way, but the Fun School colors, I don't know.
Oh my gosh, poor Windmill. So we'll go back to these guys are great.
These figures
we
are
don't
great.
want Windmill and Super 7 though.
These guys are very expensive, so I definitely understand if you have to pass on this line, or if you're really, really carefully cherry picking. I think if you're only getting one from this wave, I'd recommend Destro. I think he's the best figure in this wave, and hard to go without. I think there are so many core Joe characters that you could maybe skip Flint, but there's not that many super core, super important Cobras.
Right.
That it's Destro is kind of the secondary guy.
Yeah. And one other thing too about this particular set of 4 is the fact that you're getting 2 of the known Joe couples together as well. So you don't have to, if you do want to get the whole wave, if you can, you're getting probably the 2 primary ones that are there.
They would have had to do a weird love triangle wave with Duke and Scarlet and Snake Eyes.
Yes.
But then they would have thrown off their balance of 2 Joes and 2 Cobras in every wave.
Well, technically, we've got another one here because we have Flint, Lady Jaye, and Baroness, who in the episode Games Master.
Game Master, yeah.
But then again, you would need a Baroness in her bathing suit. So
that's going to be a con exclusive.
Yeah, you know what? I can see that.
Like
happening.
The comic book colored bat will have Bikini Baroness.
That I could see happening. So this is great. These are great. Thank you for
Thanks for coming on, Mike. It's great to have you here again. I hope everybody enjoys having Mike Breaux back.
Yep.
His furry friend here, Alf, is trying to eat my cats.
Oh yeah, I saw a cat upstairs earlier and he looked tasty, but then he ran away. I'll catch him. Don't worry. Do you have a biscuit bacon oven that I can put him in?
I do.
You do? Ha! All right, I'll be back. Oh, don't check my pockets.
All right, guys. Once again, let me know in the comments down below which one's your favorite, and thanks for hanging on the peg with me.
Rock and roll. #JustBro. Do a good deed today, and I will be back to hang out with our friend here, Pegwarmers champion, Kevin Jones. Rock on, everybody.